Welcome back to the Cinema Condition with your host, filmmaker, and creator of the Nerdcore Podcast Network, Raul Alejandro Mendoza. And as always, we are back for another week with another guest as we discuss another film on our journey through season 2 of the Cinema Condition. Last week, we had Kelvin Kataria come on to discuss Fernando Bertolucci's Last Tango in Paris. And we are going ahead and having another new guest this week. This one was a choice that was made like a long time ago, I want to say. This person came on the show, on the Nerdcore live show. And then we, said, hey, you want to come on to discuss a movie because I'm picking people for season 2. And therefore, I ended up, getting this person to come on, which is going to be really interesting because this is the second time they've only ever been on a thing with me here. And this time they don't have, their usual friend here. But yes, this week I'm being joined by the incredible Jovanka Medellin as we discuss Yeon Sung-ho's Train to Busan. Hi, Jovanka.
Hi. How are you?
I'm okay.
That's great.
Can't
That's
ask.
all that matters.
Yeah, can't ask for anything better. We get to record. It's my last actual free week before I start work, and I'm gonna have to start scheduling episodes on the weekend to record. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Sounds like a
and
handful.
well, yeah, it is a handful, and we want to thank our patrons who are watching the video version live. We have a patron in the chat watching this live. Thank you so much. We're not going to be able to interact with you as much as we can, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that, our patrons do get this video version so they can see the beautiful Jovanka and the beautiful Raul on their screens. But yeah, most importantly though, how are you doing?
Well, I have free time right now, so I'm just sleeping it off. That's all I do.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun not doing anything at all.
Nice. Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that. Love doing nothing, absolutely nothing at all. And that's the best thing that can happen because you get time to relax and you get time to just goof off, right?
Yeah, just like moving on from hospital life to just actual life, it really overwhelms when you think that it's not all about the hospital. It's there's more to life than just being there 36 hours every fourth day. So
Yeah.
that's also nice. That's a nice change, not being in a hospital.
Yeah.
I'm free of COVID, so that's great.
Yeah. That's good. Jovanka, you want to let them know who you are and introduce yourself to the people who may not know you because it's been a long time since you've been here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, hi. My name is Jovanka. I have a second name, which is Nefertiti. That's an Egyptian name. It's my favorite name. But everybody knows me by Jovanka. I'm 23 years old. Like I said, I'm a med student. I'm currently gonna start my 7th year. That's my final year, and I just need to do a couple of exams before I can call myself a doctor. Apparently, I'm already a doctor. Um, and yeah, I just finished my 6th year, which is considered one of the worst ones. It's just a full-on year of being in the hospital. You have like 80 sleepovers in a year. So that's all actually like really fun. You see a lot of patients, you see a lot of people, and you learn that a lot of things. You learn a lot of things. You learn everybody has issues, everybody has problems. Um, it just it's too much, but I feel like I've changed in the last year, and definitely I don't think I'm the same person you met last year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well, you got a pretty cool hairdo today than you did last year. So, the short hair is freaking awesome. Looks great on you.
yeah, I've been wanting short hair. because of the hospital, like everybody would be like, "You're such a messy doctor," and they'd always they'd want me to have like a ponytail or whatever, and I hate
Fucking
doing my
assholes.
hair. Yeah, and it would just be the nurses, that's it's normal. And I decided to chop it off by myself. So this haircut is provided by me. The color, I've been wanting blue hair, but I don't know if it's professional. So I decided, so I had some free time, and I really like blue hair. It's really pretty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, when you become an actual doctor, like doctor. I mean, I consider you a doctor. You're fucking delivering children, so I would think that you're a doctor, right? But until you're like titled doctor, I would hope that they don't give a shit what the color of your hair is.
I hope so too. That's like my dream. I want to finish medicine so I can have blue hair.
Yeah, yeah. Don't we all? Oh my god!
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm glad that you're doing well, and I'm glad that you're able to come back. Or not come back. Well, come on, because I like to always say that this is a different show than a lot of the other shows I do. The one you did, one you came in was like really stupid. It was like really like having fun and like
Yeah.
joking around. This is a lot different, a lot more different. This is a different environment than the one you've been shown. But
Yeah, actually, our friend in common, Michelle, she was like, "Do you know what you're gonna do?" And I was like, Wasn't it like last time? Like, are we gonna do the same?" And she was like, "Okay,
no,
well, well, you'll see." I was like, "What?"
yeah,
I'm
no,
scared.
yeah. So I mean, for Jovanka and a lot of the people who are you're probably gonna show this to a lot of your friends. Maybe, hopefully, show it to your friends.
I
I'll go
hope
ahead and reiterate: the Cinema Condition is a podcast devoted to discussing the what the movie is trying to say specifically. What is being said by the movie and what we see in the movie. We don't really care here about whether we like the movie or not. Of course, you are kind of inclined to choose movies you like because are you like it's human nature. Like, are you gonna really want to come on for an hour to talk about something you don't like? But at least when it comes to me, um, it doesn't matter whether I like the movie or not. I believe a lot of movies have a lot to say. So this podcast is really devoted to discussing what the movies has to say. And of course, don't worry, spoiler alert, I fucking love this movie. This was my second time watching this movie, and this movie never, ever, ever gets old. It never stops delivering. This movie's freaking awesome. I kind of refuse to watch the whole like sequel, because it's not really a sequel. It's kind of like another story within that universe of the movies. But like, I'm kind of like I kind of refuse to watch it. Like, I don't want it to like somewhat like destroy the magic of this one. But I don't know. It's just that's just me.
like I said last time, I do love everything zombie related.
Hmm.
So it's not my second time watching it, and I'm not ashamed to say it's not my third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Like I've watched it a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like it's my comfort movie, one of my comfort movies.
Yeah.
Um, so any zombie related movie, I do try to watch it more than one time. I do like the performance actors can make trying to be zombies. That's so interesting. And I
Yeah.
was thinking like, what is my favorite zombie representation? And I don't know. I do believe everybody has a unique way of representing it. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Joanka's a big fan of zombies, zombie movies, and everything. That's why her handle is "Zombies Attack Us." And yeah. With that said, though, today we're discussing this movie. It's made by Yon Sang Ho, and we have never actually discussed Yon Sang Ho here on the podcast. So I have to introduce them to this filmmaker. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get into this. Let me go ahead and get comfortable here, and let me fix my posture. Let me introduce you all to the filmmaker known as Yon Sang Ho. Born in 1978 in Seoul, South Korea, which, by the way, y'all, we do not know his actual birth date. We only know that he was born in 1978. Funny enough, I looked on Wikipedia and I was like, wait, where's this guy's birthday? Like, when he was born? Like, it only says 1978. So, like, he might be 42 or 43. I don't know what's going on there. That's funny, though. I find that hilarious that we don't actually know what's it called, how old this man is. He is a Korean film director and screenwriter. He attended and graduated from Sungyoung University with a degree in Western painting. He directed his first animated short film in 1997. Excuse me. Um, Followed by two other shorts in 2000 and 2003. He set up his own production house in 2004 called Studio Data Show. His next shorts would reach international film festivals, and he made his feature directorial debut in the 2011 animated short film, The King of Pigs. He was inspired by the works of Japanese author Satoshi Kon and manga artist Bimuro Furuya. So you all will know the name of Satoshi Kon come season 3 because Michelle did choose Perfect Blue on the end at the end of our first episode for season 2. And if you don't know Satoshi Kon, I recommend you all really get to learn his work because his work is incredible. Um, the film became the first ever Korean film to be invited to the Cannes Film Festival in 2012. His next work is an animated short that is based around his mandatory film service, and in his second feature film, The Fake, in his second feature film is The Fake in 2013, continuing his themes of tackling social issues within his movies. He would then step into the zombie genre in 2015 with his animated film Soul Station, which is supposedly a prequel in this universe of movies. I believe, like I read that, I was like, okay, I don't know much about how that works. Soul Station, what's it called? Looks at the democratization of Korea, and then of course he made his first live action film in 2016 called Train to Busan, along with Psychokinesis in 2018, which is his superhero movie, and then of course his 2020 quote unquote sequel, Peninsula. And since then, he's right now he's working on writing a other film. He's not directing it, but he's still working on something right now. But that is the filmmaker Yon Sang Ho, and of course we're discussing his 2016 film Train to Busan. Train to Busan premiered at the midnight screenings of the Cannes Film Festival in 2016 at the director's fortnight screening. It broke the record of the first Korean film to reach 10 million moviegoers. And of course, a standalone sequel serving as another story in the same universe was released last summer. Um, Jovanka, before we actually get into like the movie and everything, we discussed the movie. Why did you choose this one specifically? Why did you choose this movie?
I don't know. There's just like I feel like it was maybe like a special year or something, and maybe it was like fresh for me or whatever. Even though it was 2016, I think I probably ended up watching it like 2017 maybe. Um, I just I really adored it. I didn't expect Koreans could really go that way with zombies, and I do believe they did well because there was, I don't know if you've heard about a series on Netflix called Kingdom. It came out in 2020, and the zombies are kind of similar. So I do feel like Korea encouraged more of that kind of gore into their
Mm-hmm.
lives, even though they love being beautiful and pretty and elegant. And I just, it was a different thing. And Gong Yu, he is an actor that he was in one of the first K dramas I've ever watched, and he was just so cute and beautiful, and I couldn't believe I could see him that way. It was just different.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, around the same time this movie came out, he was working one of the best K dramas, which was
Yeah.
Goblin. Fun fact: the movie makes a cameo in the K drama. It's amazing. And just watching him react, he's like scared throughout that scene. He just jumps every time the actor is like in danger. And it's so funny because he's reacting to himself, and I love that.
Yeah. Every time I rewatch this, so when I first watched this movie, um, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I really love it. But it wasn't even Gong Yu who stood out to me. Um, I freaking
I know
loved
who. I know who.
Mahjong Sek. God, damn, I loved him. First, like, just first of all, like, let's when I approached this movie, it was because I saw that he was going to be in Marvel's Eternals, and I was like, who's this guy, man? Like, he's got a really like nice figure. He's built like a fucking superhero. I'm like, I want to see what's up. I watched this movie, and I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen when he was there. Like, he was like not just the what's it called, the muscle in there, but like he was also like this really sweet character who like loves his wife, and he like wants to make sure that Gong Yu's a kid is okay. But like I was like, dude, he does so well. And then I didn't know until I watched it this time. um Kevin from Parasite is in this movie. What's Wolsik Cheek?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
yeah, a young what's it called? What's it called? He's younger in this one. Of course, he doesn't look as like skinny as as he did in Parasite. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally
whoa.
forgot he was in Parasite. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the son. He's the one who like what's it called that orchestrates everything, and I was just so surprised when I saw that. I was like, dude, I was like, dude, I feel like I know who this is, and I just kept thinking like, where have I fucking seen him? And then I go into like his IMDb. I'm like, Parasite. It
Yeah.
was fucking Parasite. But yeah, man, I love that guy. Yeah, Woosik Choi is his name. But yeah, I just every single time I watch this movie, Madong Sek is the one. He's the one who stands out to me. Did you think it was Madong Sek that I was gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I heard like, Gongyu top, right? And I heard like Korea like raved over him, the United States raved over him. Everybody loved his character, and and it's true. It's true. He's like the best character. There's at least like 5 K-drama actors there, and I think that's also why I love the movie. It's like it's not romantic. I'm so excited. I'm finally not, drooling over something romantic. I'm actually drooling over zombies and, just like a whole other story. So I was really excited, like they're not kissing. I don't know.
yeah. I
It
would have
just
liked to
made
see
me,
some zombies kissing. Come on, let's
yeah.
yeah.
So that was I love everybody. Like I feel like everybody did such a good job. I don't know. I just want to hug them all. They're so good.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, of course, Madong Sek is now going as Don Lee in the United States. He's going to be premiering in the Eternals, the Marvel's The Eternals, and God, I said it already. If Don Lee does not blow up after this movie, I am going to riot. I am going to riot. I will. This man like has like literally the build, the look of being the next big action star here in the United States, and
Yeah.
yeah. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and get into our conversation on Sung Yeon Ho's Yeon Sung Ho's Train to Busan. All right, so of course this is a zombie film. But what the very thing that's very interesting about this movie is that we pretty much are just like confined to one single location for most of the movie. You know, we have like we have his office where he works at. Then we have shots inside the house. What's it that we have in there, and then of course at the end we have that train station they're at, and then they're crossing into Busan. So
Mhm.
other than that, like we only have pretty much like 5 locations in this whole movie. And we're pretty much confined to just the train for like a really, really long time for this movie. I found it really interesting how they pretty much shot this. Like they did have a train, but like other parts of it was like, CGI, but they were, had pretty much cameras outside and everything was, and it was pretty cool. I found it really interesting how they pretty much shot this. Um, but I thought it was, I have never seen, of course, like we have like zombie films, like of course, like World War Z, Night of the Living Dead, um, Army of the Dead just came out, on Netflix. Whether you liked it or not, I know I sure didn't like it. But what's it called? There's movies like that, and then but not all of them are just confined to like a single space like this movie. What did you think about that? Like just the whole idea of like literally being only like the big breakout is happening in the train.
I actually don't mind it. Like
Yeah.
I just got into the movie and it says like train to Busan, and I'm like, sure, like if you want to sell me a train, I'll buy it, and I did buy it. Like it was. I feel like it does have different kinds of people in each little, what is it, like wagon, whatever. And for example, where there's only the baseball team, like it just
Mm-hmm.
gives off a whole different vibe. Like each place they had to go through, it had either less people, more people, the baseball team, and I did like that little mix of different like clothing. You didn't feel like it was all on repeat, like it was
Mm-hmm.
different. That's why I don't feel bothered by it. And I also really like the whole little bathroom breaks, like they would hide in the bathroom, like even though that happened a lot, I didn't get bored. It was just like like a new bathroom, like what's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And they actually had like different conversations. I don't know, I liked that it wasn't, I didn't see it the same, like. And they did have that little break when they're at the station where they find the whole other bunch of new zombies that are soldiers. Like that was like a little stop, like to refresh in your sight. I
Yeah.
felt like, okay, I took a break. We can go back on the train.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I love the whole like like because not a lot of zombie movies kind of like to bend the rules per se. This one they had like some stuff that were really interesting. Like unless they see you, they're not like unless they see you, they're not going to come at you. But they also had they're not really cognitive as much as you think because they don't even know how to open the door. Of course, as they evolved, they learned how to open the doors and they learned how to break doors, windows and stuff. But also the most important one, the one that was most interesting to me, that they literally they can be mobile when it's dark, and usually, like when you think about like most of these zombie movies, like Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah, yeah.
not nothing.
I don't think.
The rules aren't kind of bent like they bend them in this one, and I thought it was really interesting that because it makes things a little bit more chaotic in a sense, and it brings in a little bit more tension. So that's something that I commend this movie so much because they like to play around with the rules a little bit and not make it like a straight up just zombie movie because that would be boring, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like it mixes a lot of emotions. It actually makes you angry. Remember that businessman,
Oh yeah,
just
fuck that
being,
guy.
just being so selfish. Also the tunnel breaks. I love that part because there's this part where they say you have 2 minutes for the next tunnel break. You have to
Hmm.
go from wagon to wagon in 2 minutes. And I was thinking, could I make it in 2 minutes? Could I move an old woman? Can I move a pregnant woman? Can I move an old woman? Yet again, a child and whatever. And could you do it in 2 minutes? Like,
Hell no. Hell no, I can't do that in 2 minutes. First of all, I don't know how that pregnant woman was even running. Like, I want to bring that up. Like, she looked like she was pretty much like, you know,
about to
close
burst.
to, close to, or not about to burst. Like, she looked like she was like a month 7, let's say. At
Yeah,
that
but
point,
by the end, she looked
yeah,
like month 6.
yeah.
But yeah,
But damn, was she able to? That's just a movie being a movie. Let's be real. That's
yeah,
you pull yourself out of the realism of the movie sometimes. I was just like, nowhere in this that I ever believed like, yo, can you really do this in 2 minutes? Because like, it's a child, it's a pregnant woman, it's an older woman, and but I do love, like you say, like the way that the train is kind of built, right? How we have, the baseball team. We have, just regular people, like working people. You have people who are like, what's it called? You have like nicer dressed people who are obviously a little bit more like you want to say middle, like middle, lower middle class or upper middle class, and then of course you get the businessman who's like probably the most stuck up one, who's able to kind of manipulate the people into like turning their backs on each other, and and then of course like in the bathroom you have this like pretty much like homeless man who seems to be the most pure-hearted out of all of them, to be fair, him and Don Lee. But yeah, I just I love that the way that the train is kind of set up and the way that we kind of navigate our characters within the train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody gets the correct amount of attention. I don't feel like anybody lacked story or lacked,
Yeah.
like camera time or whatever. I feel like everybody was there.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, like at first glance, you would think, oh, we're gonna concentrate on Gong Yu's, arc throughout this whole, but like, it's not even just about Gong Yu because it's about Madong Sek's, character and his like journey up to like really showing off like the father that he was going to be, or also just the little girl's journey into like becoming more compassionate as well, and showing that like that she's not anywhere near being her father. She's different from her father, and it's just and of course like the guy from the baseball team. Like you have like all these arcs. Like of course our main central plot is revolving around Gong Yu, but we're still looking at pretty much like this whole idea of like a family dynamic here. You have of course,
Yes.
yeah, because you have Gong Yu and his daughter, you have Manong Sek and his wife and his eventual child, and then you have the baseball team that is kind of a little family as well, and you kind of look at how different each kind of family dynamic is,
The
and
sisters.
the sisters too, the older women, yeah, the sisters, and how much all of them seem to care for each other more, and kind of like Gong Yu's character seems to be revolved around these people who kind of understand being a family more than him. Yeah. Anything to say about
Yeah,
that?
I also like his evolution, like
Mm.
I like from the beginning, everybody like they're amazing people and they are compassionate people. They could actually do something for somebody else, and Gangyu would never. And what I did like was that at the end, he would put the pregnant women first. Like anything he would do, if you pay attention, he would like grab his daughter and then grab her, and then he'd go for like anything else. I
Mhm.
did like that, like somebody who doesn't care about anybody. And even at the beginning, I feel like he didn't like precisely love his mom, like one would believe.
Yeah.
The way he was like talking at her, it would just be kind of cold, like stop annoying me. And at
Yeah.
the end, he would actually change the way he would talk to anybody. It didn't really matter, and I
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah, I mean, and more so like this kind of like individualistic kind of approach to it. He
Mhm.
he kept telling his daughter like you don't have to do that. Like in these type of situations, only you have to worry. You need to worry about you, and it's like nah, dude. Like we're a community here. Like if you want to go ahead and what's it called, go for yourself, you can end up like the business guy ended up. All mauled
Yeah.
and yeah, But you have to think about everybody because you're not the only one in here with a child and a family.
I
And
feel like everybody learned something. Also, the homeless man, you could see that he acted because he was scared of the whole situation, and at the end him sacrificing himself for like
yeah,
other people, that was he was scared even till the end, but he
yeah,
managed. And that's something I really liked. Also, everybody just grew up so much. Even the little girl, she was like, I do love my dad, I'm so sorry.
yeah,
And everybody changed. That was nice.
yeah. Well, like you said, everybody seems to have an evolution here. You know, and of course, what's it called? Gong Yu's character is one of the big ones because he of course does the sacrifice to make sure that his daughter, keeps living, and he gets bit. But like you said, even the homeless guy, like he was scared, but up until the end, he's like he wants to save the child because the child cares for him a lot, and it sucks. Like a shit ton of people you care about in this movie die. Like a lot of people that you like get attached to, who you're like, oh man, like I really just want these like little old ladies to, to just get home. Like I don't want anything to happen to them. And guess what? They die too.
They both. But I did like the feisty sister. That was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. But God, that business guy always pisses me because he's the epitome of that selfish, like higher class asshole who thinks that his world is better, his world is the top. Like he needs the what's it called? Make sure he gets home. Of course he's scared, but like. He's a fucking asshole, man. He's going about it the wrong way. He's like pitting everybody against each other. What's it called? And then he like turns his back on everybody who he kind of manipulated into like turning against each other. And yeah, he's such an ass, man. I hate that guy.
You could also see, like Gong Yu's character, he could have been that guy, like maybe a
Yeah.
couple of years more, and he could have been that guy. Maybe even at a certain point, watching him helps him, like, no, I don't want to be that guy. Like, he's an asshole, and I would never. And, maybe he was there to make Gong Yu a better character. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, because they I believe Madong Sek's character, like, what's it called, asked the daughter, like, what does your dad do? And he's like, oh, he's like an analyst, and he's like, oh, he's a leech and stuff, and like,
Yeah.
and and throughout the whole movie, this guy is connected to his phone to see what's going on. Like he's talking to his analyst, is like instead of like paying attention to his damn daughter who's there, up until like the meat and the bones of it all, happens.
I do like that aspect of it because especially, well, not only Korea, but a lot of places ask of you, especially if you're like an office worker, that you're always like stuck to your phone. So that was like a good like bonus little thing. Even though the world is burning, he needs to work, like
Yeah.
I have to be connected to my work. And like you've said, also another thing I really liked was that you didn't just live in the present of the whole situation. You could also see what was happening throughout Korea, by the news.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was also nice.
Yeah, yeah. The way they kind of incorporate like the whole press conference from like the president, and the way the president's like saying like, no, everything's gonna be okay, guys, just like stay home, like try to like stay safe. And it's like, dude, you have like cities of zombies like turning, and like while he's giving the press conference, like something blows up with that shot of the city, and it's like, dude, like I know you're trying to keep them safe, but like this is kind of the time you kind of get people like on edge so that way they can survive, because like the worst of the worst is kind of happening, man.
Yeah, I really like that. Top. I love it, love it, love it. If I were in that situation, of course I would love to know how outside is working.
Yeah, yeah. God,
I
man,
really
yeah, because I mean, you don't want to end up being stuck on a train where there's like a shit ton of zombies in it.
Yeah.
But yes, we're gonna go ahead and go into break, and when we come back, we're gonna go ahead and continue our conversation on Train to Busan. But in the meantime, y'all, let me find my mouse first. Wow, it's right here. So in the meantime, y'all, go ahead and listen to these words from our sister shows from the Nerdcore Podcast Network, and we'll be back after these short words. All right, see you then. Hey, I'm Rolando Mendoza, and this is
Jabril Newton.
And we are the hosts of High Flyer Radio. And finally, pro wrestling has come back to the Nerdcore podcast feed in the form of a show hosted by Jabril and I. And we talk about everything and anything in the pro wrestling world on Mondays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Nothing's off limits. Whatever you guys want to talk about, if it's from AEW to SmackDown to Raw to NXT, nothing's off the table. We can talk about it.
We're going to talk all about it. And if you can get it a day early, you should go to the www.patreon.com/thenerdcore and pledge to the tiers on there so you can get this show and a lot of shows days early before anybody else gets to hear it. But enough talking about it. We'll go ahead and see you there at the Squared Circle.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tap out. Tune in.
Tune in.
Hello, guys and gals, and you're listening to The Ladies of Nerdcore. I am your host, Daniela Nunez, and along with my amazing co-host, Ashley Garcia, we discuss many things like social impact, pop culture, political realms, and any controversy surrounding the Nerdverse. Tune in and listen to us bi-weekly on the Nerdcore podcast feed, and we will love to chat and hear your thoughts on our wonderful show. And thank you again for listening to The Ladies of Nerdcore.
Hey everyone, my name is Raul, the Nerdy Chicano, and I am the host of The Impaired Files. The Impaired Files is a interview show brought to you every Thursday on the Nerdcore podcast feed. And I interview people such as filmmakers, content creators on YouTube, and podcasters like Colton Geschwander. And if you want to listen to that early, a whole week early, all you got to do is go to the Patreon and pledge to the $1 tier. And if you want to listen to it with the general public, then go to Nerdcore podcast feed on anchor.fm/the Nerdcore. And the case is closed, but it's not classified. See you guys there.
Hey, it's Ashley from the Gamer Core. You may remember me from such episodes as Big Screen Mess, Mo Money Mo Platforms, and Brad Can Read. Tune in weekly as I blab with my co-hosts Raul the Nerdy Chicano and Brad the Random Germ about the latest news in gaming and gush over what we're playing at the moment. Oh yeah, and we got the deals too. Keep up with the latest deals in gaming and what's happening as I mediate Brad and Raul fighting like a married couple. Will Death Stranding ever come out? Will Cyberpunk 2077 live up to the hype? Is a next gen worth a $500 console price tag? And has there ever been a movie adaptation of a video game that's been done right? It's all on the Gamer Core podcast, everywhere where podcasts are.
Hey guys, this is Brad, aka Young Yoda. Raul said I had to make an ad, so that's what I'm doing. It's supposed to be for Unstructured, but as you guys know, you can freaking catch me everywhere when it comes to this podcast feed. You can find me on the Nerd Cores, on Gamer Cores, on Nerdy Chicanos sometimes when I get lost. But for this particular one, I want you guys to go check out Unstructured. The Raul gave me free reign to do whatever I want to do. I don't know what he was thinking. So go hear me talk about LeBron James and Taco Tuesday, vaping, so many other freaking weird topics that chimichangas, that's a good one. Shout out to Deadpool. And yeah, I guess this is the end of the ad. So if you guys want to find me, you can find me all over the place on this podcast feed. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I love you all. And nerd up.
Hey everyone, I'm Raul.
And I'm Brad.
And we're the hosts of the Nerdcore podcast. The podcast that talks that nerd. Not on this ad, right?
No,
and
this one.
We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. On the Mondays, we talk the news. That's the box office, the news of the week, and your trailer talk if there is any. And on Tuesday, we have our theme review. And on Saturday, you have a Saturday morning review, usually movies that have come out in the week or anything we want to talk about. Right, Brett?
Exactly. Whatever we want to talk about, this is our show. If you don't like it, then you don't have to listen.
We're the flagship show of the Nerdcore podcast feed, and we can be found everywhere you can listen to podcasts like Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. So if you want to talk that nerd stuff with us every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, make sure you tune in. And Brad?
Young Yoda out.
Welcome back to the Cinema Condition. We are here right back after the break. And thank you all so much for sticking throughout the break. If you're still here with us, we want to thank you all so much for that. As always, you know what you have to do to support the shows on those ads. You know, you go over to anchor.fm/the-nerdcore to listen to it. And you can also go to listen to this show on the anchor.fm/the cinema condition. That's where you're listening to this. Hopefully, right? If you're not listening to it on here, if you're not listening to it on the Cinema Condition feed, where the hell did you get this episode? Because it's not available anywhere else. Of course, like I said in the beginning, you know, this episode is available to you in a video format if you are a patron. You are a patron of the Nerdcore at patreon.com/nerdcore. You get the video version, but you also get this episode a week early before it releases to anybody else in the public. So for exclusives and stuff like that, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcore for things like that. Come on, who doesn't want to see what I look like today or who Jovanka actually is? Because, you know, it's called you're curious. It's just $1. $1 gets you into the door. So go ahead and do that. And of course, go over to the Apple Podcast feed and leave a 5-star review, not just for this feed, but Nerdcore Podcast feed as well. So please. And with that said, let's go ahead and get back into our conversation on Yo Sang Ho's Train to Busan. All right, so let's get back into this. I have a couple of things that I kind of wanted to talk about. You know, we kind of discussed the whole like family dynamics of the train, of the people on the train. You know, kind of the individualistic like kind of idea that starts at first and then it kind of stops because, you know, what's it called? Gong Yu's character learns to not be an asshole and kind of listen to what other people are saying. Of course, you know, there's a little bit of a class structure here. You know, it's interesting how like, you know, you have, you know, pretty much like more working class people towards like the back of the train. As you keep going, you kind of get more people who are like nicely dressed, who, you know, are obviously more higher class. And of course you have the homeless man who's kind of just chills in the bathroom, kind of this like outlier who's like, you know, it's kind of hard to put him into a category because he's kind of not in a category, you know, per se in the social class ladder. And you know, of course, we kind of reach to the top of the front of the train, and we have, you know, our businessman who's obviously, you know, very well off, and you know, he's the one who kind of fucks it up for the rest of us, for the rest of people. And you know, he's the one who seems to be the most selfish. There's a lot of selfish people here. You know, at first, Gong Yu is really selfish. You know, he's not really thinking about everybody else. He's kind of thinking about, you know, himself and his child, which, of course, like, I understand. Any parent would pretty much come on you and be like, of course, you're going to think about your child. But, you know, you're kind of in a group setting. There's no way that you can't not just think about everybody else, especially a pregnant woman, especially an older woman. You know, that's some of the most important stuff right there. What do you think about the whole, like, you know, selfishness of these characters? And you think like that revealed a lot about these characters at the time?
Yeah, I do believe, you know, like a lot of things were supposed to go around the selfishness. And haven't you ever thought, if you are in a zombie apocalypse, would you save somebody else? Like, it points out the obvious, you know, like you have to save yourself first. And maybe you'll save your parents, maybe you'll save your sister, maybe you'll save somebody else along the way. And yeah, of course, when you see it in a movie, you're like, what an asshole. But stop for a minute. And if you thought about the 2 minutes, if you would make it through the tunnel, think about it. Would you make it at the beginning of the zombie outbreak?
Hell no.
So that's why you have to be selfish sometimes. So, I mean, of course, if you're watching the movie, you're angry. But if you start thinking, you have to be kind of selfish sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm not bothered by how selfish everybody is at the beginning, because then they kind of like knock it off. But once they get, you know, the whole idea, if we don't help each other, we won't make it. But I guess that's part of, you know, human nature at the beginning. Of course, you're going to be scared. Of course, you're going to do basic instincts, you know? And I'm not bothered by it. I think that's what makes them all change. You know, they had to go through that for it to work.
Yeah. I guess that's just the game of survival, right? You know, that's like what a lot of these movies kind of base around is survival. You know, how we're gonna, you know, kind of fit into like what's the present situation is, so that way we can get out. Like at first, you know, Fists were doing pretty well, right? You know, they were doing well punching the shit out of these damn zombies. But like, what happened? We kind of have to adapt. We got like riot gear on Gong Yu's character. Madong Sen kind of got like some stuff like wrapped around his like arms to kind of like, you know, once again, guy's built like a fucking superhero, looks like a superhero. I'm telling you, he is a superhero. And then of course, what's it called? I can't remember his name, but Kevin from Parasite, you know, what's it called? Also kind of got armored up with his bat and everything. You know, you kind of have to like adapt to the situation. And, you know, if you want to make it out alive, you're going to have to evolve and survive as much as you can.
It's
But
very interesting also how, you know, a lot of zombie movies incorporate either, you know, what MacLeod, a sword, but you usually have guns or whatever.
yeah,
But they didn't have anything like that. They only had what, baseball bat top, you know, tops. That's all they had. They punched the shit out of zombies. Like, what the heck? Well,
yeah.
how was that even gonna work? But it kind of worked, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I loved every moment that Madong Sek just grabs one and just goes like snaps his neck, like he's already dead, dude. What the fuck is that gonna do?
What are you
Like,
trying to do?
what are you trying to do? Like, that's not obviously gonna work the way that you think it's gonna work.
God, he even went down. Like, such an amazing way to go. He carried
Oh
a
yeah,
fucking zombie to push more zombies as he was a zombie. It was just what?
yeah, yeah. You know, you just gotta keep adapting, right? And like even at the end, like they were just pretty much just punching. They're like, you know, I don't have weapons, and it's true. Like a lot of these movies, like zombie movies, like you usually have like an army already, right? Like the recent one that I watched, Army of the Dead. I'm remembering Army of the Dead. Like everybody's kind of strapped, everybody's got guns, everybody's like, you know, pretty much got some sort of ammunition, and like I think that's what makes movies like this one a little bit more special. It's like, you know, this is like what happens if you're not actually like trained for this shit. And like what happens if it happens like at the worst possible scenario that you didn't even expect it to. Um,
Yeah, have you seen the meme where it says like, quickly, the first thing at your right is your weapon to fight off zombies. Like, what would you fight with? And I've read comments like a pillow or stuff like that, and I feel like it's something like that.
yeah, that like the last thing you what's it called? You use the what's it called is the one that yeah, or like the thing that's closest to you is your what's it called? Is your zombie
Your
apocalypse.
weapon of
Yeah.
choice, yeah. I feel like it
I'm
was something like that, like a water bottle. Like,
yeah,
that's all I have. So
yeah,
you know, they were creative with the way. I thought that was also pretty cool. Like,
yeah,
where would you get a gun? It's
yeah.
illegal in Korea. Where would you get a gun?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, like, that's just kind of what makes it a little bit more special, right? Because like, oh, we're kind of like subverting the whole idea of like, you know, the Western way of the zombie movies, you
Being
know?
prepared. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and making it be like, oh, this isn't some Walking Dead shit, man. This is like some, you know, hey, I was gonna go to this city today, and somehow a zombie apocalypse just broke out.
Come on, I was getting my groceries. What the heck? Yeah, you know, just like that. What
Yeah,
can't a businesswoman buy their groceries? You know, or something like that.
Yep. Yep. I do always just kind of think about like, you know, whether the mom lived. I don't think she ended up living, right? Like I think she ended up like,
I definitely didn't believe it. I
yeah.
don't think she made it. I mean, the granny was supposed to be like at her apartment. How'd she even get
Yeah.
infected? You know?
Yeah, no, Granny and Mom didn't make it. You know, that I mean, I'm guessing like to the end, the ending kind of read off to me like, oh, she's gonna live with this lady, and she's gonna, you know, be the mother figure for her, and she's, you know, yeah, there's gonna be the chance of like, you know, becoming another family. Like another family is formed, but like, you know, they're still gonna what's it called? Think about the people who, you know, they lost along the way, but you know, they have their chance to like make things right now, you know, and have you know, the daughter's gonna have to, you know, may have a new mother, and then that lady's gonna have her child. So yeah, by the way, that ending always gets me. Just, you know, you're thinking like they're gonna shoot her, they're gonna shoot her, they're gonna shoot her, and no, she sings that fucking song, man, and it like always gets you kind of like a little bit emotional and choked up. And yeah, she ends up not getting shot. Thank God, because I really couldn't take another death on that screen because there was just so many in me. Like, I was like, you know, cool, businessman got killed. I don't really give a shit. You know, what's it called? The dad dies. And it's like, oh crap, please don't let this little girl die or this pregnant woman die. Like that just would be just too much at this point.
I do love the little close up at the end where she's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, she's sobbing, but she's sobbing at the floor, and then just as she finishes her song, she just like cleans up all of it, and she's just like, I'm done.
I'm
like,
done.
save me.
Save me, yeah. But yeah, I'm telling you, you know, I'm not really surprised that this movie, you know, it made the numbers it made at the time, because I think that, you know, this kind of like does revolutionize the zombie genre at the time. It's like this is something that, you know, to me, like watching a small amount of zombie films, I had never seen anything like this. This at the time it did. And of course, just in the grand scheme of like Korean cinema in general, you know, which is kind of made up by mostly, you know, Bong Joon-ho's films, Park Chan-wook's films, Kim Ki-duk's films, and just all these movies. And then you have like stuff like this where it was like, oh, this was like a breath of fresh air. Like this is kind of that innovative part of Korean cinema that we didn't see much of at the time. And I think that, like I said, I haven't watched Peninsula. I don't know. Have you watched Peninsula?
I have.
What did you think about it?
Oh God. I'm no expert in movies. I just, if I like the story, I think the movie is great. I don't care about the soundtrack or the sounds or the visuals or whatever. But I didn't like the story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of already said what I thought about it. I just, oh God, I don't know. Maybe I expected a lot out of it.
Yeah. So you definitely don't recommend me to watch it. I like.
I mean, you have to. There was just like a lot of rave about it, and I feel maybe it was that, it was like so hyped up, and I thought it would be just, like something similar to this, something it would make me feel good. I don't know. Everything's so dark and so horrible, and I just it has pretty good scenes, a couple.
Yeah.
But I could give you more movie recommendations over that one.
All right. Well, either way, do you have anything else left to say that you want to say, or do you want to go? Can we go ahead and move on to our hot seat, and we get to send you off here?
I do have a bit of hate towards Train to Busan, just a little bit.
Why?
Because it reminds me of my hate towards one of the worst adaptations of a zombie book ever, which is World War Z. So, do you remember in World War Z, that movie sucks. It sucks. It's one of the worst zombie movies. Anyways, do you remember that I think it takes like 11 seconds or something like that to transform into a zombie?
I do not remember much of World War Z at all.
Don't. Anyways, that's practically all I need you to remember. So, here in Train to Busan, the first woman that rides the train who is infected, she actually takes a few minutes before she, transforms. And then she bites one of the crew members. She changes in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And then we have a few other characters that change in seconds, and a few others that can still punch zombies before they change. So, of course I love some of them characters, but what happened there?
If we're gonna set up rules, can we please play by the rules?
Yeah, like what are we playing at?
Yeah.
What could you at least tell me, oh, he's a heavier man and she's, a smaller woman. That's why it took less. Okay, fine, I'll take it. But nobody explains that, and it actually angers me. I just I need answers.
That always like kind of surprised me too, because there's like points like, of course, that first lady, right? She came in and she's like, kind of like tweaking and shit, and it's like then she takes a while to what's it called to change. But fucking Madong's sex character over here just like able to keep going, and he's like changing, but he's still not going yet. And it's like, like you said, if we're gonna introduce rules, can we please play by them? Like, don't forget the rules.
Like, that's a sad part, but why is he taking so long?
Yeah.
Why aren't you a zombie by now?
But let's go ahead and get into this. Let's go. We're done. We thank you all so much for the conversation. Thank you, Jovanka, for being here. The conversation was great. I had a wonderful time. But we cannot let you leave yet. We want to go ahead and see what we're going to be discussing when you come back for season 3. Jovanka, what do you want to choose for now to be your movie to return for season 3 of the Cinema Condition?
So there's this movie I've been meaning to watch. I don't know if it's good. I'll watch it, I promise. I had 2 actually in mind. One is a movie from Spain, and another one is Korean. So the movie from Spain, it's completely different to zombies or whatever. So that's kind of like not why I'm not gonna mention it. But if anybody wants to see it, it's called Durante la Tormenta. No idea how it is in English, but just look it up like that. And the other one is Korean. We actually have Woosik Choi in it, so maybe we might obsess over him. It's called The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, something like that. Apparently there's going to be a part 2. Don't know when, but allegedly the cast is out and whatever. So that's the movie I'm going to choose, The Witch.
The Witch?
The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, something like that.
The Witch Part 1, The Subversion. All right, I will go ahead and write that down. Jovanka, at the time right now, is choosing The Witch Part 1, The Subversion. That is a interesting title
That
to say.
is-
Yeah, the Witch Part 1, The Subversion. All right, yeah.
I swear it's called that way. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, I mean, I could show you. It's called that way, I swear.
Yeah, no. I believe you. I just like The Witch Part 1, The Subversion. So,
I swear.
no, I 100% believe you. I'm just thinking about how long of not how long of the title that is, but just how confusing that is with the of a title. But hey,
No
if it's
joke, that's why I want to watch it.
because it's a confusing ass title.
It's a confusing ass title. I was like, part 1? How sure? So soon you're sure you need a part 1 and a part 2? That's fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, of course, I want to thank you so much for coming on. How did you like your time here on the Cinema Condition?
It was fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course. You can always come back on anything. For this one, you pretty much got to wait until you come back. But, the door is always open for you to come on a live show, and it's a lot of fun when we do all that stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
At least I hope so, right? I hope it's fun. But
Yeah, it is.
yeah. Oh, it's so which part 1 is on Netflix? Okay, awesome. Yeah, I thought this was like some shit. I thought this was shit that like you need to actually like find really hard because there's no other
No,
way.
bro, I'm actually like super basic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's it called? Thank you so much for coming on. You want to let them know where they can find you on the internet and stuff like that?
Literally anywhere that says zombies attack us, like that.
Yeah.
That'll be me.
Yeah. Zombies attack us. What's it called? You're pretty much just gonna get a bunch of like memes and stuff, right? It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to look at what fucking Jovanka posts on her social media because it's always fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't be my patient. I'm really stupid.
Yeah.
7 years won't change that.
I love your stupid stuff that you post on the internet. It makes me laugh a lot, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
It's fine. It's fine for me too.
Yeah. And as always, you can find me at the Nerdy Chicano on both Instagram and Twitter, and on twitch.tv/the Nerdy Chicano. As always, I'm on YouTube and I do a lot of cool stuff on YouTube. But I don't have my custom URL at the moment. So you can go and search up my full name, Raul Alejandro Mendoza, on YouTube, and you'll find my channel and you're going to subscribe. And you're going to get me to 100 subscribers so that way I can get my custom URL. So if you're not subscribed, you want to go and subscribe because it would be great for me to be able to say anywhere and everywhere on the Nerdy Chicano because then I don't have to make the ad this long. You don't want the ad to be this long anymore. Please go subscribe. It would mean a lot. On Mondays, I do an episode of a show called Between the Frames. We talk about a movie and we pretty much just bring up a movie that I want to talk about. Right now, I'm kind of making my way through the Essential Fellini box set from Criterion Collection, where I discuss the essential movies from the Italian director Federico Fellini. And then on Wednesdays, I have my episode of the Nerdy Chicano Live. But at the moment, things are changing, and I will be announcing new days and times that we do those shows. But at the moment, you can go and find those shows on my YouTube channel and just go watch them, and you can have a good time and listen to me discuss about movies you probably didn't even want to watch, but you can hear me talk about them because, you want to support the boy and his content. And of course, I'm always on the Nerdcore live show, and a lot of other stuff that I do on twitch.tv/nerdcore and on youtube.com/nerdcore. All that stuff. I do too much things these days, and I really need to find a way to just, chill out because it's just too much. But as always, I thank you all so much for listening to the episode. I thank my guests for coming on. And as always, I don't really have an outro for this show. and I don't really say anything like, funny or anything. I just hope you have a good time. I love you all. Watch a movie, and yeah, watch a fucking movie, guys.